Welcome to
All My Friends Are Fucked. Yay.
We are here
with Dr. Christina.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for having me. I'm nervous and excited to be here.
You're in the green chair.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's so glamorous.
That's where Nicky sits every week, 4 days a week.
Do you feel like a therapist?
I kind of do, and it's very strange.
Well, you are a doctor, so it works actually.
I guess. You got to cross your legs, and sit up straight and act all professional in this chair. You can't slouch, I feel like.
Yeah.
Oh, you totally can.
So where do you you're technically an animal therapist in a way, if you think about it.
Yes, I have animals with behavioral problems too that I treat. So yeah, I guess I'm a catch-all doctor for my animals.
Yeah.
Yes, but your specialty is
exotic animal medicine. Yes.
So cool.
Yes. So I only see, and when I say exotic animals, my job currently is I work in a small animal hospital, but I see everything except for cats and dogs. So all of the small creatures that people will keep as pets, like rabbits and bearded dragons and parrots and canaries and, all those things that constitute as pets, not zoo animals right now.
Okay. Did you know that Tarryn's dog is an exotic animal?
Which one?
Dublin.
The psycho? Yeah. He's actually the devil inside of dog skin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I decided that he reminds me a lot of Ren from Ren and Stimpy.
He's so cute.
She pulled up a picture of Ren.
He does. Little Chihuahua, because Ren is a Chihuahua.
Yeah.
I had no idea
He
about
bit
that.
my Chihuahua mix recently.
Oh, how'd that go?
It was fine.
Okay.
Wait, what?
He bit Cornelius.
Oh, yeah. No, it was not fine.
Oh, he bit.
No,
I thought
Cornelius was fine.
I thought you said
Okay.
he met my Chihuahua.
No,
mix, and I
they
was
were
like,
Cornelius
besties.
Was scared, but he was fine.
Dublin just snapped. So they were besties. They've hung out a million times. He always runs up to Cornelius and they play. So Nicky just came over one day, brought Cornelius, let him in the house, and Dublin went nuts. Chased him around, hunted him down. I had to
Oh.
pick up Cornelius, and instead of Dublin leaving it be, he jumped 7 feet in the air, jumping up and trying to attack him. It was not good. After Dublin also bit your boyfriend. So
I was in shock only because my dog a month earlier less than a month, got bit by my neighbor's dog attacked. So then I was in shock. But anyway, aside from Dublin being an exotic animal, what's constituted as exotic are birds, reptiles.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, guys, birds aren't real.
Are they? Flash
Yeah.
I love that we're all
your
wearing
conspiracy
our...
shirt.
I know. I guess we should get into this even before we go into the exotics.
Yeah.
The exotic animals.
We all have such a different piece of merch on.
Yeah. Well, this is a vintage. This is
4
or 5 years old merch. So I think you have the new merch.
Mine is new, and I got this one for a specific reason. It's so classic, it's so plain, because I believe the conspiracy could be real.
Okay.
I want it to be so oh, this could be real. Whereas the one I got for Nicky is
outrageous.
Out fucking
I'm
outrageous.
gonna bleach tie-dye it.
You should.
Oh, that would look good.
I'm gonna bleach tie-dye it.
That would look good.
I'm so excited. It'll look so cool
Yeah.
with this.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
So you got vintage. I've got classic, is she crazy or is she not? And then yours is obviously a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because, I can't believe it.
I get why you don't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't really believe it, but I could. I could get on board.
Yeah.
The thing is, I feel like there wouldn't be a need for birds to not be real because they're already watching us in every other way all the time. We literally have cameras set up watching us right now. They don't need bird drones to watch us.
That's so
But
true.
if you change your perspective on the purpose of the birds, and it's not to spy on us, but just because they can. If you were a billionaire and you're I could make some robot birds.
Yeah.
Once you start thinking about that, it's okay.
I honestly would just figure out a way to put cameras on plants or something, or I don't know. There's got to be a more efficient,
Maybe bees or butterflies that migrate.
Yeah.
That could be cool.
That could be.
Sounds like this was a Black Mirror episode.
This
with
was
the
bees.
With the
Yes.
bees. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
I love Black Mirror.
Wow, me too. I
Yep.
don't know why I don't remember this one though.
It was a good one
It was-
because it was
it's a
kind
really
of
good
it was
one.
kind of scary realistic. It was one of those episodes that some of them are very far out in the future, but
Yes.
if the one with the bees was could happen possibly within the next like 10 to 15 years.
Those are my favorite ones.
Technology-wise.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
All right. So is the general consensus that birds are real then?
I mean, what do you think?
Yeah,
you see
you're a
birds every-
specialist.
How often do you work with birds?
So I have my own pet parrot. She is very evil and very real. 100%.
She's real.
She's
How do you
real.
know, though?
Well,
do you know?
So birds, I think maybe they're not real unless they're trying to like F you up, because they are like dinosaurs at their most primitive level.
That's
true. They're descendants. They're like the dinosaurs that survived and just grew feathers. But I see some questionably real birds as patients, probably like 2 to 3 times a week. My most common patients are small mammals like rabbits and guinea pigs. Those are definitely the most popular ones.
Yeah.
But we still see our fair share amount of birds.
Interesting. What is your parrot? What's your parrot like?
She is small. She's only about like 100 grams. Like if you can think of she's about the size of a grapefruit. I think that's a good comparison size-wise.
Oh, she's a little parrot.
She's little, but she's mighty and angry. She's one of commonly parrots. They a lot of times will latch onto one person as like their person, and sometimes will kind of reject other people. Oh. And I adopted her and they told me she prefers women. And I was like, great. What that actually meant is that she hates men and will befriend women. Like my pet sitters are all women. She likes me. She likes my mom. She likes my grandma. But my husband... Oh,
she stands up to the patriarchy.
Yeah, she really does. She does not like my dad. She never liked my grandpas when she met them. My male roommates, like that I've had in the past, not into them. So
what's her name?
Does she attack?
Her name is Layla, and she attacks, and she will like either run up to them and latch on with her bite force, which is surprisingly large for such a small animal, or she'll like fly at them. Now that she has the ability to fly, she like will fly, like dive bomb, basically.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's, it's a behavioral problem that partially comes from hormones, because in the wild, they're normally, they have a pair where they have a parrot of their own species that they're bonded to, that they're living with, mating with. They have a flock. And so they have a lot of captive parrots have this redirected aggressive or hormonal tendency because they see us as their flock. I don't know why it's a women thing. I know all I knew from the rescue is they said she was owned by an elderly woman previously, so maybe that's all she knew.
Wow.
But yeah, she's a lot of work.
I wonder if her previous owner was Gloria Steinem.
Yes. Speaking of, happy International Women's Day.
Oh my God, it is International Women's Day.
How did you like that segue?
That was great.
That your bird ain't real.
Yeah. Birds are not real, guys.
True feminist here. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that was good. I'm proud of myself for that segue. That was a good one.
That is amazing.
Oh my, I'm obsessed with your bird too.
She's pretty cool, but yeah, she's kind of the epitome of like problems that people have with keeping exotic pets in captivity. Like these are very common problems that we see. So yeah, it's a lifelong work, and she's been around. I've had her for over 10 years at this point, and theoretically she can be around for another 10 to 15.
Oh yeah, they live forever.
Yeah, and her species or lifespan is short, where some of the larger parrots, they can live into the 60s or the 80s, and they end up outliving their owners, and that's a huge problem too.
Yeah.
So okay, wait, I want to talk to you about being an exotic vet. So like, why and how, but mostly why did you get into this line of work?
Yeah, that's a good question. And so part of it was because growing up, we were never allowed as kids to have a dog. So we always had like little parakeets or, rabbits that were, I came from a family of farmers. So they, I think, eventually were taken for meat purposes. But for us as children, we were, we raised them in a farm aspect, and we grew to love all of these exotic animals. And growing up, it was really hard to find veterinarians that would, one, be able and willing to see them, and two, even if they were willing to see them, to be knowledgeable enough to treat them the right way. And so I always knew I wanted to be a veterinarian, but what led me to exotic animal medicine was I really wanted to be that doctor for those underserved pets and for those people that really struggle to find high quality care for, these animals that some people think of as less than and, as if they don't deserve care. So that's kind of what led me to where I am.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm pretty proud of how I got to where I am because I feel like I'm doing the mission. I always had that mission and I feel like I'm doing it every day. So that's pretty fulfilling.
That's really cool. What is it called if it's when I think about an exotic animal, I know the types that you're talking about. I have some clients that had one had a bearded dragon. I've had others that have rabbits. But when they're in a monkey or so, or working with that a gorilla, what type of
tiger?
So, yeah.
What type of vet is that?
So there are specifically zoo animal veterinarians.
Oh, it's quite
simple. I mean, it's a little confusing because there is a lot of overlap. There are some people that will practice with both, but generally zoo animal veterinarians, especially in larger zoos, that's their full-time job. They're there all the time taking care of the large exotic, dangerous species. I'm more of a companion exotic animal veterinarian where I'm taking care of people's pets. And then there are wildlife veterinarians that work in wildlife hospitals and wildlife rehabilitation conservation centers that are treating animals with the sole purpose of trying to re-release them back into the wild.
Okay, like a hawk or something.
Exactly.
Like that.
Yep, exactly. So there's a lot of kind of different sectors of that non-traditional pet medicine.
Yeah. Do you do livestock like horses, chickens?
So I don't do horses. I do chickens. For us as private practice veterinarians, we're treating backyard flocks, individual chickens, because people have chickens in their backyard as, a hobby situation where they'll both eat their eggs but also love them like family pets.
That's what I would want a chicken for.
Yeah. And
a little pig.
Exactly.
They a micro pig.
Exactly. They have those wonderful bonds with them. So you're taking these traditionally farmed animals and bringing them more into the family aspect. So we treat chickens in that sense, but I am not a poultry veterinarian. When you think about poultry veterinarian, those are people going out into the big farms that, treating thousands of chickens that are egg layers and meat producing chickens.
Oh, interesting.
What do you think is the strangest or weirdest animal that you've treated?
So I get this question a lot, and I have had the opportunity to collaborate with some zoo veterinarians, which I'm really grateful for, because the type of hospital that I work at, we have access to CT scanners and MRIs and more kind of advanced technology that a lot of times they don't have on site at the zoo. So I've had the opportunity to work with some big cats like, tigers. Oh. I've had the zoo bring over, some porcupines, sea turtles, really cool stuff that I don't see on a daily basis. And so that's cool to me. I think the craziest ones are always going to be the ones like the tigers that if this animal wakes up, we have to do everything under anesthesia because
I was
obviously...
just going to say, how do you even put a tiger in an MRI machine?
Exactly.
You have to sedate it.
Exactly.
Right?
It has to be, the anesthetist at that point, they are the most important person in the room because they're the ones that are preventing this dangerous animal from waking up and destroying all of us.
Oh, for sure. How do you even get it in? Is it even anesthetized to get into the vet hospital?
Yes. Yep.
How do you do that? That's terrifying.
Yeah. And that's where the zoo animal veterinarians and their keepers are so amazing. So a lot of them have great relationships with them that they will actually train their animals to present their paw or potentially come to the cage for their blood draw or their injections.
Wow.
So they're able to sometimes at least administer their initial injections with the animal being compliant and not stressed. But sometimes they'll also start out by anesthetizing them. They will use dart guns with the syringe full of anesthesia to knock them down in their enclosure so it's safe enough for them to transport them. And
Makes
then
sense.
Yeah, so it's a big process. It's always a long a long production, a big day of transporting that animal, and there's a lot of safety concerns involved.
Wow.
But it's always very cool when you get to be involved in that process, because you just see how many brilliant minds are involved in not only keeping that animal safe, but also keeping everybody that's involved in their care safe.
Yeah. Okay. It's kind of nice to hear it, actually, because I've never spoken to an exotic vet ever in my life. And so it sounds like, from what you're talking about, people really love the animals and prioritize taking care of them. And so in hearing that, I'm like, okay, that makes me feel better, how their priority is safety and the animal safety and your safety.
Absolutely.
The thing is, it's like all animals have different types of anatomy. It's not like, here's a human, it's the same anatomy. Cool. And most doctors are specialized. So like a human doctor, you're being specialized in these things and you're really learning about that and treating that. But like as a vet, it sounds like, I mean, you've got to know the anatomy of so many different animals and you're not really specializing.
Correct. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm like the exotic animal vets and zoo animal vets and people that see those non-traditional animals, they're kind of like generalized specialists, because we're really good at this strange sector of medicine, but so much of what we do is refreshing our mind on anatomy in textbooks, if it exists. There's a lot of animals that will see that there is no information about all of the way that their body systems work. And so a lot of it's extrapolating. You really have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable and not knowing everything.
Totally.
But doing your best due diligence and remembering your principles of medicine to treat them. But it's difficult. It's a really hard part of the job. But also I find it to be a fun part of the job too, personally. A lot of vets are like, nope, I want nothing to do with that. I don't want to see exotic animals because they are so different. But for me, it's really empowering to be like, we can take this and, despite the uncertainty, do good for this creature, try to help this creature, and extrapolate from what we know.
Do you have like a story or anything that makes you go like, wow, I can't believe this is my job?
Yes, there are, I mean, it happens often. It honestly does. It happens often where like no day is the same for me at work. But, there's some days of pure chaos. Like, for example, when I'm treating a really atypical pet. So, for example, if I'm treating someone's pet raccoon, where like that's just not the norm.
First of all,
do you have to get a license to have a raccoon? They're cute.
So
they're so cute.
cute.
There's so many TikToks with people having raccoons as pets that it's tempting. But I feel like they're fucking insane.
Yeah. So licensing wise,
they need everything.
Right. Licensing wise, it's very dependent on the state that you live in. So some states are lawless. They don't care what kind of exotic animals you keep. Some states do require certain permits and kind of collaboration with the Department of Natural Resources in that state itself. At the end of the day, I am not the police. So, if someone's going to come bring me their animal, I'm there to help with their care and their well-being. And I don't have to report people or be like, show me your papers.
Right. So, you don't have to look for
exactly.
animal or something.
I always advise people to do the right thing and go about it the right way, because I don't want that animal to be, confiscated or euthanized because it's contraband. But it's not my job to be the animal police. But yeah, like there are those days you get those animals that come in where animals like raccoons and other kind of wild things, they're odd because you have to treat them both like a dangerous zoo animal while the owners treat them like a dog or a cat. So they're not domesticated at all.
Weird.
Apparently they're, oftentimes friendly at home, and those are those cute videos that you see online with, oh, look at my dog and my raccoon, sharing an apple or whatever it is.
They're so cute online. Raccoons look adorable.
They make it look cute, but then as soon as that animal becomes stressed or sick and needs to come to the vet and be taken out of their environment, they become incredibly dangerous and they can be really aggressive. So we have to...
Never thought of that, yeah.
Yeah, so it's hard for us as caretakers because we do have to do a little bit of that kind of staff surveillance. Everybody needs to make sure they're rabies vaccinated, and not just the animal, the humans that work with them. And so when you're trying to wrangle this wild animal that is kept in captivity, that's when you step back and you're like, I can't believe this is my job.
Oh my gosh.
You know, like,
Yeah.
so there's always some chaos. There's some tomfoolery that happens anytime one of those animals come in. The other things that I see on a more regular basis, like rabbits or, guinea pigs, those are really more domesticated and not dangerous.
Yeah.
Fairly, they're not predators. So
Yeah.
so it's a little bit easier to handle them. But every single one has its own like chaotic story that comes with
Wow.
it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you had a case of rabies come in?
I don't think any of my patients have personally ever been confirmed for rabies, but it does happen in hospitals, especially wildlife hospitals, or like, your dog came through the ER because they got bit by a raccoon. And if they're able to collect those animals and send them for rabies testing, you get confirmed cases. So it's
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. That's a big fear of mine. I'm even scared of getting rabies.
The fuck?
Yeah. But truly, because of vaccination and quarantines that have been instilled in our country, it's an extremely low rate of rabies
For now.
Do you want to get into that? I don't know if you want to get into that. but yeah, it's to the point where you don't have to vaccinate the general public for rabies, because with our pets and having rabies required as a vaccine for dogs and cats and ferrets, the incidence of it is really very low in domestic animals.
Sure.
We do it. Veterinarians and a lot of vet staff and zoo staff are vaccinated, obviously, because we have a much higher exposure risk than the general public. But even still, we have ways to catch it and protect ourselves.
Yes. Yeah. But honestly, I would get a rabies vaccine. I don't know why. It does scare me. It's like a zombie disease and you die.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, that's the thing. It's 100% fatal. It is 100% fatal.
Is it?
Yeah.
Rabies. I think there are maybe there are like 2 case reports of people that have survived because they caught it early and put them in a medically induced coma. But like usually by the time you catch it, it is 100% fatal.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why you have to take it.
I feel like
so
we should all get
seriously.
rabies shots.
That's the thing.
Right?
I'm so terrified
How hard
of
can
rabies.
it be to get one?
It's actually it's very expensive and it's painful. It's a
What?
series of a few. Yeah.
Oh, it's not
I
just
could
like
see
go
where
to
they
CVS?
wouldn't give it to you just to give it to you.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you'd have to be like, oh yeah, I work in, I don't know.
Even still, they question you. Like if I go in, I'm like, I need my rabies booster. They're like, why? Because the human doctors and pharmacists, that's just not a thing that they do very routinely. And so, there's always, they're like, are you sure you need rabies? I'm like, yes, I do.
Are they ever required for like kids or anything like that?
Not that I know
So we've
of.
probably never had a rabies vaccine.
No. There's no reason to. It's really low. Like
unless you got bit by a wild animal and you needed to do like the post-exposure rabies injections, rabies or post-exposure treatments. Most members of the public that don't interact with animals in any way, you don't get rabies vaccinated. It's a risk exposure thing.
Because even if you're bit by an animal, you don't know if they had rabies, which they probably didn't. I'm guessing they still give you a prophylaxis
if they can't confirm it. Yeah. So like if you say someone's dog bit you, but that dog is rabies vaccinated, and they can quarantine that dog and watch it for a certain period of time to confirm that it's not going to develop rabies, then you don't necessarily have to get vaccinated.
Do you have the time for that?
Jeez,
Jeez.
it's a really short window, right? With rabies, like.
Well, it's actually a slow developing disease, but depending on whether or not they've been vaccinated, they either will quarantine for like 30 or sometimes 90 or even longer, 180 days. It very much depends on the animal. There's
What's the person doing that just got bit?
Well, you can go
Waiting
about your
to turn
life.
into a zombie.
Yeah,
I'm like, how long is this going to take?
As long as you're not biting people, you're
just going to die.
It's crazy. It's the closest thing to zombie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think it's the closest thing to a zombie disease.
Sounds like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so is rabies only found in mammals? Because one time I did get attacked by a bird.
Yes, rabies is a mammalian disease only.
Good to know.
Yeah,
I feel a lot better.
Don't get it.
Birds are crazy.
Because they're not real.
Well, they're
why
dinosaurs.
They are
dinosaurs.
Yeah, because if we think about your parrot, I love your feminist parrot, who's a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what are the dinosaur qualities of your of your Gloria Steinem parrot.
Yeah. I mean, so they have scales. They do have scales under their feathers, like their legs and their feet are scales.
Oh, yeah.
Like reptiles, they lay eggs. And just like,
yeah.
Yeah. And just genetically, when you trace like the genealogy, you've probably heard the thing where it's like, oh, the closest descendant to a T-Rex is a chicken. Like technically, I mean, I think there's a lot that's been dumbed down in that statement. But yes, the closest descendants from some of our dinosaurs that we know of are modern day birds and reptiles, obviously. But they're very similar.
I mean, an ostrich basically looks like a dinosaur.
Oh, it really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're crazy. Birds are insane.
They are.
I remember one time I texted Christina because I was being attacked by a bird. No joke. So I didn't understand what was happening. So basically I was walking with the dogs and I felt something like buzz by my face. And I was like, the fuck was that? 2 seconds later, the bird, now I see it, buzzes by my face again. And I was like, what is happening? I'm terrified. And so I'm like, come on, guys. Like, I have the dogs. And this bird at one point starts like hitting me in the back, hitting me in the head, going back and forth. It was a blue jay too, which is so funny that because you like, when I started texting Christina, because I was like, first I pick up the dogs and I like booked it. I was like, I'm going to be attacked. Like, I'm going to die. And what's so crazy is that I remember, because I watched like a lot of like Hitchcock movies when I was growing up. I remember watching the movie Birds and thinking, stupid. This is the dumbest movie. If I was being attacked by birds, like I would just be like punching them. I could like run away. I could like birds are so not aggressive. And even if they were like easy to fight, and I was being attacked by one bird and I thought my life was over. And then when I finally escaped, I texted Christina. I was like, what happened? Like this, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, typical. You probably got too close to the nest.
Yeah. Incredibly territorial, protective.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you walk by too close to the nest, they'll just go?
Yeah. I mean, especially some birds, like some species will be more aggressive and actually come after you. And that's the thing with raptors and hawks and owls too. Like there have been reports of people that they're like, I was just hiking in the woods and this hawk just dive bombed me and, started like going after me. So imagine how scary that is.
Would have been the end of my
God,
life.
that's so scary. Or like a vulture.
They're
Vultures
big.
are scary.
Yeah.
Pelicans even. I was watching a video. Did I send you that video?
I don't think so.
I've been obsessed with pelicans too recently. How they open their mouth. That looks like a dinosaur.
Yes, because they are. They are
dinosaurs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That needs to be.
What do you mean open their mouth?
Like, because it expands. I don't know.
Well, so pelican, I don't know if I guess the term for it, I don't know if it's gullet, but they have that extra skin underneath their lower beak. And when they open their mouth, they can scoop, because if you've ever seen a pelican flying and then they skim the water and they scoop up fish and water with that extra pouch of skin.
Oh.
So, but when they're not doing that and they're just out and about and they open their mouth, it's just like this expansile mass of skin that's very... Yeah, it's very off-putting.
Yeah, I've been watching videos of like pelicans just going up to people and just
stop. Are they like trying to be like, can I fit you in my mouth?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I mean, they
It's
don't have
so
teeth.
dinosaur of them.
Isn't it?
Yeah, like,
Isn't it?
hey, let me just see if you'll fit in my mouth.
Exactly.
Like, you look small
Gets
enough.
your measurements.
Yeah.
With their beak.
30 million years from now, we'll have pelicans the size of a T-Rex and they'll be able to do it.
Yeah.
Never know.
Probably.
Is that what happens with evolution? They're like big and then they get small and then they get big again?
I don't know.
Well,
I think you need to have a genealogist on here and like an evolutionary biologist.
That would be so
next.
fun, actually. Yeah.
That
Do you
would
have
be
any
cool.
people you can hook us up with?
Man, let me think about it. I'll get back to you, but not off the top of my head. I don't know people that cool.
You're pretty cool, though.
I know. I'm like, this is so fun.
Which leads me to a question. Is there anything about being a vet that you think people don't know? Like, is there something about being a vet that people wouldn't know about, that you want people to know?
Yeah. I think the most important thing is like, we are always thinking about your animals. So a lot of times, you'll not so much anymore, but there's a lot of backlash against veterinarians. Well, they're money grabbers and they just want to do all these tests and they don't want to actually help. And, the reality of it is I care so much about my patients. And this is not unique to exotic animal vets, but all veterinarians. I care so much about my patients that When I'm grocery shopping, I'm thinking about them. When I'm in the shower washing my hair, I'm thinking about, did I do that case right? Did I make the right decision? Is that patient doing well? And so, like, it's very hard for veterinarians to disconnect from their job because they are so deeply affected and care so much about their patients. And so I think it's really important for people to recognize that, yes, we're there in the clinic, but we're always on. We're always caring. And so being respectful to your veterinary staff. And this goes for not just veterinarians, but their technicians and their assistants and their even the people that work in the front desk area doing client communications. They care so much. And so anytime someone says, well, you're just a salesperson, or you're just, you don't care, or, oh, well, it seems like I'm funding your vacations. People make a lot of remarks about how we don't care. And it does hurt very deeply. And it's part of the reason that our profession has such a high rate of burnout and mental health issues within it. So I think just a reminder to be kind to your veterinary staff, especially when you're in an emergency situation with your pets. It's scary, and we get it because we all have our own pets, and we get scared when our pets get sick. But you have to remember that we're people that care behind the white coat or the scrubs. And so being respectful to those people is my message to the public.
I love that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I think people probably come in and they take a lot of their anger out on you guys, or they're so scared, or their anxiety, and it just comes out. You're the target to that.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of work to build yourself up to a level where you can say, I just have to let that go. That wasn't a personal attack on me. That person is scared and frustrated, but it does weigh down on you after a while.
Yeah, for sure.
I bet, because to become a vet, I mean, you've met a lot at this point, but every vet that I know, which is you, it's like you're like generally like animal lovers as children. Like it's like you see little kids be like, I want to be a vet when I grow up. Like it's one of those jobs where it's like, this is a forever thing. Yeah. Like you thought about this when you were young and you were like, I'm actually going to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. It's really hard to, for a lot of us, it's just in our soul. Like it's who we are, which is not healthy as for your profession to be so ingrained in who you are. And so it's a hard thing to proverbially take off your white coat at the end of the day and hang it up and then go be an independent person. We do what we do because we love and we care. And so it's very hard to kind of separate that and have that work-life balance, because for a lot of us, our work is our life. And that's an ongoing struggle for all veterinarians and veterinary staff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not to get deep.
Totally see that.
Get deep.
No, that's so hard to separate it because you do have your own pets. You've always loved animals. So I could see where it continues to be on your mind. So how are you guys connected? What's the story between
me and Dr. Christina?
Mm-hmm.
So I've known you since, I think I met you pretty quickly, 2014. Yeah. So Christina is married to my little brother, Stevie. So Christina's my sister, basically, sister-in-law.
Yep.
Yeah. So Stevie and Christina met in 2014. Mm-hmm. And then I think I met you pretty quickly after.
Yeah, because I came to family wedding. There were a couple of events that happened very shortly after. And I think that's when we met for the first time.
And we always got along.
Oh,
we were just like, what's up?
Well, I remember that I actually remember the day that I was going to meet the whole family for the first time. And Steve was kind of prepping me a little bit. And he was like, Tarryn is basically the female version of me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, that's easy. And it tracks. It makes sense. You guys are so similar. And so, of course, I obviously get along with him great. And so we feel like it's always been easy.
Yeah, it really has. I remember the first time I met you, I felt really like seen because you were like taking lactaids like nobody's business. And I was like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm lactose intolerant. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, if I eat dairy, I shit myself. And I was like, wait. But like, doesn't everybody? And she was like, because I am lactose intolerant in a lot of ways. Whenever I eat dairy, I literally like cannot have a solid poop for like 3 days. So
every time?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So no, it doesn't happen to everybody. That's
apparently not.
But she thought it was normal.
Oh. Yeah, I thought it was normal. But you also know Stevie, who also has some digestive issues.
He won't admit it, but he's got some
lactose intolerant.
I don't know what he is.
Maybe he has celiac disease.
He could. Yeah, except he doesn't get inflamed. But maybe. I mean, all he eats is peanut butter crackers. But yeah, so I remember you literally being like, if you take these little lactaids, your poops will be normal when you eat dairy. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And she's been eating lactaid ever since.
And did you have? Or
no, her. I have had it when I'm with Christina.
Did it work for you?
Absolutely. It's actually kind of great.
Yeah.
I just
do it all the time.
I really should. But the thing is, sometimes I like to empty out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you like to inflame your digestive system to have a cleanse.
Weird cleanse.
Weird cleanse.
Weird cleanse, but okay.
Yeah. I don't eat dairy that much, let's be honest, though.
Oh, that's good. I eat dairy so much.
Like
Me
what?
too.
Cheese?
Cheese.
Oh, yeah.
I love cheese.
Yeah.
You don't eat any cheese?
No, I do. I just don't eat it that much. So breakfast, I'm not having cheese. Lunch, I'm not really having cheese. Dinner, if I want pizza, I usually have cheese when I have pizza. And then I'm like, well, I'm in for the night. Doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Commit.
Yeah.
You're committed.
Yes.
Yeah, I had nachos last night for dinner. And of course, I didn't go to the bathroom this morning because I think dairy constipates me.
Wow. I can't imagine.
And then I had leftover nachos this morning. I refried it, I guess, in a pan with some eggs.
Ooh.
It was great.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah.
It was great. And I probably won't ship
You won't ship for
a
3
week.
days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't hurt my stomach that much.
That's good.
Yeah.
Everyone's so different. Because bread, I can eat bread all day.
Yeah, no, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay,
you have
great.
lactaids.
Yeah, I am the lactaid girl. Everybody knows. It's part of one of my core personality traits. It's and I have friends that are lactose intolerant but aren't as diligent about it. And so they're like, psst, you got an extra lactaid? I'm the deal. I'm the dealer. I had lactaids at my wedding because we had a fresh mozzarella cheese stand where they were making the cheese right there.
Oh my God.
And I was like, how on brand would it be if I had a lactaid stand right next to the cheese stand? So we did that at my wedding,
Smart.
But it's I don't know. I'm always prepared. I'm like a squirrel where I stash lactaids in every bag and every pair of pants that I own. So sometimes I'll be finding them. I was cleaning out my car. I've had the same car since high school. And I was cleaning out the glove box of my car last summer. And I found an expired lactaid from 2012 but emergency lactaid in my glove box. That's how,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
It's part of who I am.
I love that. I love that you had them at your wedding. I wish I knew. That was the wedding of the century, by the way.
Yeah.
And I ate so much.
They were in a bowl right by the cheese.
Wow.
The cheese stand.
So smart. Were there
So
Tums
funny.
too?
I think in the bathroom, there were in the little
Yeah, there
bathroom
was,
basket,
yeah.
there were Tums. Yeah.
There
That's
was
smart. Yeah.
to-go doggy treats,
Yes.
pet treats.
Yes, our favors were pet favors, like pet treats for
That's
your
so
dogs, your
sweet.
cats. Yeah,
Yeah.
because obviously our pets are everything to us. They're our children.
Should we play this game? So we're getting
Yes.
close to
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's play
Let's
this
do
game.
it. Should we?
Christina Christina listens to the podcast.
I love listening. These are great questions. I think
They are
they're
good.
awesome icebreaker questions.
I know. We
I love
just
that we
never
do it
play
at the end.
Yeah, we do it at the
Also.
end.
It's not an icebreaker, technically.
Well, yeah.
What would your younger self not believe about your life today?
I think my younger self would not believe that I found Steve, my husband. I knew I was going to be a vet. I knew I was going to do it. It was never a doubt in my mind. Always been really driven about that. But I guess because I was so goal oriented with my career, I never really had that vision of I'm going to be married by 30 or I'm going to own a house or all of these things. And I was just fortunate enough to find that person along my journey that has kindly stayed with me despite all of the crazy stuff that I do all the time. So I think my younger self would be really excited to know that I found a life partner that is so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Stevie's great, but
That's
so
so
are you.
It's really
Sweet.
cheasy, but it's
Perfect.
legit. Yeah.
No,
It's
that's
perfect.
great. That's great. Wait, what was what would your younger self be surprised by?
What would your younger self not believe about your life today?
Not believe about my life. I think it would be shocked that I'm not as creative as I used to be when I was younger. Like I used to paint, I used to do all those things, and I just like kind of stopped.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be like, what happened? Yeah.
Interesting. Which is so interesting because like we bond over that. I remember when I lived in New York, we would FaceTime and paint. We were like, we're going to have a paint week every week.
It's been so long.
It's been so long.
We should do that again.
I know. That was so fun. And we've done furniture together. For me, I don't think my younger self would believe a damn thing that is in my life right now.
I know that part too. Like, I wouldn't believe this.
No. Podcast? No fucking way.
Yeah.
Living in LA? No way. Everything. What I look like, how I interact with people. Like, when I was a kid, I was like weird. Like, I was a little weirdo. Like, I really was. Like, I was very unique in the sense of like I was me in whatever capacity that was. But like I don't think I believed that I would be like doing things. I don't know. Like likable, like having friends, like stuff like that. Yeah.
Having enough friends to host a podcast about them.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's cool.
Most of them are Nicky's, but that's fine.
No, I feel like now it's like changing into your sphere, which is like fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. You want to read yours, Christina?
Sure. What do you crave more of? You start.
Oh, what do I crave more of? I almost want to say more time off work, but I mean more time off work so I could do more work, which sounds weird because so I crave more time off to do more things for the podcast and more things for clients.
Right, that you could bring back to them.
Exactly.
For them.
Like more time to do training, more time to do podcast stuff. Like all of that would be nice. So I crave more time off for work.
Mm-hmm.
More time, yeah, which I don't know how you necessarily get that except by making it sort of or clearing out.
Yeah.
Offloading your schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's interesting because I feel similar. I was going to say the same thing. I was going to say time, but for a different reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like I crave more time to do things and be around people that make me feel like passionate, you know, like I want more time so I can do creative stuff. I want more time so I can connect with the people that make me like feel alive. Like that. So I think really like time at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I would love to like flip another piece of furniture.
Yeah.
I crave a yard. I don't have a yard. I crave a yard. That's what I need. Like
Come on over.
Exactly. It's like my neck. Yeah. Like in order for me to have what I want, I like need a yard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. What about you?
Honestly, the same thing is as I want more time to be myself kind of away from my identity as my job. So like this morning, for example, before we came here, there was 30 minutes that I sat in a chair outside in on your patio, Tarryn, and I just like stared at the sun and I stared at a palm tree, not burning my retinas. I was
going to say
directly at the sun.
Are your eyes okay?
I just kind of like sat there and looked around. And I saw hummingbirds and like I just want more time to observe and sit instead of doing all the time. I just want more time to be. That is what I need.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
wonderful.
We all need more time.
Time, man.
Not enough hours in the day.
Damn.
Yeah. It's so true. Okay. Well, maybe it's dark. What has been your earliest recollection of happiness?
Oof.
I know. Is that too dark?
Earliest recollection of happiness.
Or we could say the most recent.
No, let's go back. Let's go deep. Earliest, that's
I know,
crazy.
Like, earliest.
I think for me is my earliest memory is when my sister was born. So my sister is 2.5 years younger than me. And so I was only 2.5 at the time. But that when people always say like, what's your earliest memory? I do remember very vaguely going to the hospital and bringing my mom a card that I had made and like meeting my sister for the first time, which was super exciting for me because it was like the whole big sister thing. And I feel like that's got to be it for me.
Yeah.
And I think I remember that memory so vividly, even though I was so young, because it was a feeling of happiness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strong emotional association with that.
That's great. I don't know if I have a memory from that far back. I don't remember when Nick was born. I don't remember when Stevie was born.
I'm an only child, so I don't have like a salient memory as such where something was brought in.
Do you remember like going in? Because like I'm thinking like, okay, I remember birthdays that I remember being happy.
That's my thing. Like I like surprises.
Yeah.
Where I remember those things. Like I remember one time waking up, it was around Hanukkah time and the house was decorated and I didn't know. So my parents had done it. And I remember waking up and walking in the house or walking through the house. I was like, wow. Like I have memories like that where it's like more so surprise based or being surprised.
Whimsy.
Oh, we're going to Disneyland. And so those are like, I think the things that come to mind.
I remember being really happy when I got a lot of attention as a child. Like I remember very specific times where it was about just me.
Middle child syndrome.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
When you were the star of the family.
Yeah. Like,
cute.
I don't know. Like, I remember my dad would take me specifically on like trips for softball. So I played softball growing up. So like when it was me and my dad, but then the same thing would happen with volleyball. It would just be me and my mom and it would just be us. And I remember those times being really happy because it was all about me. So we'd get the snacks that I wanted and we'd go and get, I remember we'd have like these certain power bars and Gatorades and it would be my stuff. And like,
no compromising with the siblings.
No.
Yeah.
As much as I am obsessed with my brothers and like we had so much fun, I do remember those moments being like very happy.
That's fun.
Because I was like, look at me. I'm a star.
And you still are.
Yeah. That must be something to not have to compromise with a sibling.
Yeah.
Like when especially with like snacks or something as a kid, like to have your own.
It's hard enough with one sibling, but to have 3 siblings to compromise with, that's a lot.
3 brothers too.
Yeah.
Like the hardcoreness of a brother where like as the only girl, you really have to change who you are.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be soft. You have to be like, know me. You know what I mean? You have to fight just as much. But yeah.
You have to adapt in their world.
Those are good questions.
They were good.
That was hard. That was a difficult one though.
I know the happiness one.
Yeah, that was difficult.
I liked your answer though.
Yeah,
me too.
It's only because like when you think the first, whenever I say the first, it's like you think what's the first thing I can even remember, and
you
that
were
always
young.
comes to it. I was really, really young. I don't remember all of it, but I just remember like opening the door into the hospital room and holding this card that I made, and I remember that because that was like we're gonna meet her. I'm gonna meet my sister. Yeah.
That's so cute.
Shout out to Sienna.
Sienna. We got to get her out here.
Yeah.
Talk about some sports.
What does she do?
She is an occupational therapist.
Oh, fun.
But she and I are very different people. Like she's always has been like the sporty one, the athletic one, where I've been like the scientific nature one, you know? But we get along really well now that we don't live together.
Yeah.
We fought a lot when we were growing up because it's just two sisters sharing a bathroom. It's just not a good thing. But now we get along well. So shout out to Sienna.
Love Sienna. All right. So Christina, tell us how you're fucked in 10 words or less.
I am addicted to lactates. I think. Is that the theme we're taking away from today?
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh, you're the lactaid dealer.
Yep.
I love that. Do you have a lactaid in your pocket right now?
Actually, no, but it's in my backpack over there. In my wallet.
So good.
You know, like people keep condoms in their wallets. No, I keep lactaids in my wallet.
That's what's up.
Safe dairy consumption.
That's amazing. All right.
Well, this is great.
This is
Thank you.
awesome.
Thanks for having me on. This was a blast. I'm
coming.
so not looking forward to hearing my voice on recording, but it's all going to be good.
It's going to be amazing.
It'll be fun.
All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
Okay, bye.